Okay, guys. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar on remOT, OTORIO's secure remote access solution. We'll shortly begin. Just so you know, this session is being recorded and will be shared with you for later viewing. Now, if you have any questions, you can write them in the Zoom QA section, and we'll answer some of your questions at the end of the webinar. Okay, so let's begin. I'll just present myself. Well, my name is Yaniv Zamir. I'm a senior product manager at OTORIO. I've been at OTORIO about just over a year, leading the remOT solution. So we'll start this webinar by talking about the state of the market, highlighting several market insights. We'll give a brief overview of the remOT solution. And next, we'll review the main features added in the last year or so. We'll perform a live demo so you can see some of these features. And then we'll briefly discuss our roadmap and take some of the questions raised during the webinar. So let's begin. Looking at the OT security market, we're seeing an uptake in awareness and actual deployments of secure remote access solutions. We can see this in some recent surveys we have both from Gartner and TPR. And I think the first thing you can see is that 42% of tech leaders surveyed are looking to implement a secure remote access OT solution in the next 2 years, meaning we're seeing a real shift in the need and actual implementations. Most of these are saying that they need really to enable third-party access, while a lot of them are also looking to increase productivity. Now, alongside this need, we're seeing an uptake in criminal prosecutions for insider risks. And really 70% of data theft is actually occurring from home. So we're seeing both an uptake in the need for remote access, but also we understand the security risk that it poses OT environments. Really, this kind of highlights the need for secure remote access in the OT environments. Now, OTORIO provides an industrial native OT cyber risk management platform that enables proactively managing cyber risks in the OT. Now, this platform includes unique modules that enable you to take control of your security posture wherever you are in the OT security journey. This includes Spot, which provides on-demand assessment, remSquare, which provides continuous OT cyber risk management, and remOT, our secure remote access solution. Now, today we'll focus on remOT. remOT is designed to provide a safe, simple, and fully governed operational zero-trust remote access. So what are the fundamental principles upon which we've built remOT? Well, first and foremost, remOT simplifies remote access and reduces the management overhead with a focus on the needs of the operational network users. It's seamless and scalable deployment, which is clientless and agentless, and can be accessed from any web browser through a cloud service, making it ideal both for local teams and global teams. It's built on a zero trust approach, so it ensures that access is only granted to authorized assets. It's a secure by design solution that prevents cross-network infection and direct access between the user's machine and the remote asset. With full audit capabilities, remOT enables you to govern access for employees and third-party users, so ensuring compliance with security standards. And really, by using remOT, you can reduce your total cost of ownership, making it an efficient solution for your teams. Now, how does it actually work? Well, from a user perspective, it's quite simple. Really, user experience is very, very straightforward. Users log in to the remOT application from the web browser, select an asset you want to access from a list available to you, and then just click connect. And that's it, you're in. So there's no agent, no VPN, no jump server. Now, behind the scenes, there are actually three different components. There's the remote cloud service, there's the local server, and the connector. Now, the cloud service is a secure cloud application that enables the management and remote access from outside the IT and OT networks. The remote local server is an on-prem management and remote access application that usually resides in the DMZ and enables access from the cloud to the OT network. And lastly, we have our remote connector. Now, that's another on-prem application that resides in the OT network and provides access to assets. So these three components deliver a governed and controlled access based on full integration with your organization's Azure Active Directory. External user permissions are managed in the cloud service. Assets visibility is managed in the local server on site, and any access to an asset is logged for auditing. So remote is secure by design with zero trust approach. What does that actually mean? Well, the remote connector uses common protocols to access nearby assets, transferring an encrypted display of the session to the user's browser. So the connector can connect using RDP, VNC, Telnet, HTTP, and then it displays all that using HTTPS protocol all the way to the user. So there's actually no direct user access to the internal network. The communication is initiated from the local server to the cloud. Now, the asset information and credentials are vaulted in the local server. There's full TLS communication between all the components. And really, users are only exposed to the list of assets that was defined by them, by their supervisors. Now, since the communication between the cloud and connector is only using HTTPS, you don't need to configure the firewall to allow multiple protocols to be used. Now, this really scales, allowing local servers to connect to multiple OT networks, for example. Now, this architecture actually scales even more. So you can have a deployment of multiple local servers in different sites or business units with maximum flexibility and without actually compromising the security of each business unit. So you can manage each of those sites separately from the same central management interface in the remote cloud service. Now, even scales bigger by remote cloud application, which supports multiple accounts for different customers, each with one or more local servers. So for each account, you can define an account administrator that will manage only the accounts assigned to them and will not have visibility into any other account. Now, going back to OTORIO's platform, remote integrates with remSquare for continuous OT cyber risk management. So all events in remote are actually logged and sent to remSquare, enabling a better consolidated view and risk identification based on cross-domain data sources. So we're taking all the information from other data sources, incorporating remote access into that, and really providing a better understanding of what's going on in your OT network. Okay, so let's talk about what's new in remote. What have we been doing in the past year or so? So these are the main features we've worked on. As you can see, we've invested in remote's governance and security features in all stages of the workflow, whether it's prior to access, real-time activity, or even post-access. All these are now governed. Now, alongside this, we've invested in improving operational efficiency with file transfer capabilities. So let's take a deeper view of some of these features. So our journey actually starts in the system deployment stage. Now with remote local server and connector, our on-prem applications will be running on new ISO devices, which run Debian 11. This is really aligning to the remote installation of all OTORIO products. So really using the ISO method and Debian 11 provides both a combination of ease of deployment, security, stability, and cost effectiveness. We have proxy communication. So now remOT supports integration with the customer's proxy server. This is for the communication between the local site and the cloud application. So this proxy servers actually provide an extra layer of security. So we're really supporting more network configurations and flexibility for more customers and how they work. Now, these two are related to the deployment stage of the product, but really we're also enforcing on real time. So looking at compliance training. Okay, so remOT now enforces customer security training through integration with customers' training platform. So when operators log into remOT, the application confirms that they've performed all their training. Now, the benefits of utilizing this are numerous, between regulatory and through error prevention and actually improved risk mitigation, really reducing the likelihood of human errors causing incidents. Now, even after that operator has logged into the system, starts working, we're continuing our monitoring. This is with syslog export. So up till now, we've been auditing all the events happening, but now the remOT application sends the syslog events to any configured systems, such as any SIM system or RAM Square, for example. So these systems can use the data to gain visibility on all remOT connections, really enabling real-time monitoring that will enable better incident detection. Also, this enables meeting compliance for monitoring of all critical actions performed on your systems. Now, during those live sessions for operators, we now provide supervisors a way to monitor all those sessions going on. This is both from the local server and from the cloud application. So this really provides real-time oversight. So supervisors have real-time visibility now into what's going on in those remOT sessions. They can see, this allows them to see exactly what these operators are doing, really ensuring that tasks are performed correctly and securely. And again, this provides help with immediate issue resolution. So if an operator encounters a problem or requires assistance during a remOT session, supervisors can quickly intervene and provide guidance. Alongside log monitoring, that is really real time, we have session termination. And that session termination enables closing sessions immediately, either for a specific asset or for all assets of a local site. And this actually closes all remOT sessions or file transfers. Again, this is available both in the local server and the cloud application. And this really provides improved incident response. So in an event of a security incident, supervisors can terminate the active sessions to isolate and contain the threat more effectively. Now, besides governance and security, we've also improved workflow efficiency. This is by providing the ability to transfer files into the OT network using SMB protocol. So now it'd be easier to work with remOT assets and perform actions in a timely manner, whether we're talking about day-to-day work or applying patches to the system. Now, alongside transferring files into the OT, you can now also download files from OT web applications. So again, this simplifies the work, helping you get information such as reports or logs much more easily. Last and not least, besides transferring files, we can now have session recordings. So really, apologize. With session recordings, all remOT sessions are now recorded and available for viewing after the session is ended. So really, this helps again with efficient incident handling. You can accelerate the incident response and support operator training if needed. So if any incident needs reviewing, you can go back and see exactly what happened. Let's go ahead and look at the remote application and show some of the features we've discussed. Just a reminder that if you have any questions or anything that you wish to acquire, you can enter your question in the QA section in the Zoom. So let's go ahead and have a look at the remote cloud application. So I've already logged into the remote cloud application. I use that using multi-factor authentication of my organization. And this is all running in a web browser. Again, no installs, no agent, just a regular web browser on my machine. And what you can see is quite simple. It's just a list of assets. And these are the list of assets that were assigned to me. So if I want to go into an asset, all I need to do is choose the asset. You can see it's now available. Nobody's working on it. And what I have in front of me is the ways I can connect to it. So in this case, this asset exposes an RDP connection and enables me to transfer any files into the remote asset. I just did connect, and what happens is that a new browser tab is opened and a remote RDP session is being established. So this is going from my computer to the remote cloud, and then local server, all the way to the connector, and then to the remote asset. I've got an HMI demo running here. I can now go in, work, do whatever I need to do. Let's say I want to transfer a file. In this case, I can go back to my cloud application and just do transfer file. This is a file on my machine. All I need to do is choose and then just do upload. And now it's uploading that file into the cloud application and transferring it all the way, and there you go. So in that way, if I need any files, anything to work with, I can easily move them into that remote asset and just start working with them straight away. Now, that was me working as an operator, but I have in this session also supervisor rights. As you can see, I have this view session button. And what this does, it enables me to view the session live. So another tab is opened, and this is actually a view only tab, so I can't do anything. But any operation that the operator has done, I can see straight away, just dragging away. You can see it changes in real time. So really providing me, again, a quick insight into what's going on straight away. Let's just log out of this. Now, again, as a supervisor, I have more abilities that we discussed, like terminating the sessions. So I can terminate all the sessions to this specific asset. And so enabling that, if needed, everybody is thrown out. And the nice thing is that, as you can see, it actually tells me, and if I need to do anything else or want to contact, I can talk to my administrator and see what happened or why that was closed. Now, alongside my asset list, I have management permissions where I can manage my users, grant them access to assets and through to the cloud service. I have my audit page. This is where all events are audited. And this is what we've really added, this syslog configuration, ensuring that if I configure any outside system, then all these events are sent in real time and can be viewed immediately. And we'll see this in a short while. Now, this was the remote cloud application. We have alongside that the remote local server. Again, I've logged in prior to this webinar. And what I see here is the list of assets that were defined in the local server. And for example, I can add an asset here, but I can also manage my profiles. So I used an RDP profile to connect to this asset. So I can define the name, ports, resolution, enter username, password, credentials. All these are stored locally on the local site, on the local server. I can also have complete control as to what goes out from my local site. So I can publish this and make it available for users in the cloud, but I can also choose not to publish this, and it can be available only within this site. Okay, so this is where you can manage those assets and the OT network connectors. Alongside that, though, I can also use this as a remote access solution. So in this case, I have another asset. It's a RAM square, connecting it through using HTTP protocol. Again, another way that we can limit the exposure of assets. So if I have a server and I want to access only the web application, I don't need to grant access to everything, just to that web application. In this case, RAM square. Here I chose not to enter the credentials and store them, but have the users enter them themselves. And now I've entered RAM square. And the nice thing is that this RAM square is actually connected to this remote cloud and local server instance. So all these events, everything that's happening is actually sent straight away. So I have a list of alerts that relate to whatever I've just been doing. But the nice thing is that I can also gain insights, right? So we're taking that data from my connection, from whatever's going on from the remote access, and correlating it with other sources of information. So I have this nice insight, which says the device is in critical state after remote session started. So it's a nice way of really putting it all together, right? I've accessed the system, and for some reason, after I've accessed the asset, something critical has happened. So this really provides insight that something might be wrong. Maybe I'm a malicious actor, or maybe I'm just an operator who's done some mistakes. In this case, that supervisor can go into the remote application, perhaps do some live monitoring or terminate the session, or if needed afterwards, go ahead and have a look in the recording if something happened prior to them joining. I can also, as we discussed before, download any report or anything from this application straight into my computer. Just close that. Go back. Again, a reminder, if you have any questions, just throw them into the Q&A section. So, as we discussed and saw in this demo, remOT provides operational zero trust remote access while ensuring security and safety of your assets. It's easy to deploy and operate, as it's cloud-based and requires no VPN, no client, or changes to your network architecture. You have granular control at the user, asset, and protocol levels, and complete visibility into all remote connections. Now, let's look a bit ahead at our near future roadmap. So our roadmap includes continuing investment in governance and security with on-demand access and windows of operations, really completing the whole governance workflow and story. We'll continue to invest in file transfer workflows, improving efficiency, and we'll continue our platform integration with RAM Square. Now, alongside these, we'll continue to ensure our platform is more scalable and easier to deploy and implement. Okay, let's refer to a couple of questions raised during the session. Just give me a second, sorry. Okay, have a look. Can you run your own cloud instance or only cloud hosted by OTORIO? Yeah, you can run the cloud application on your own cloud. We have several customers running the cloud instance on their own cloud, so yes. Can you disconnect from the cloud? can you work without the cloud application? Yes, as we just saw, the local server provides remote access to your OT environment. So even if the cloud is down or unavailable, you can still access your assets. Let's see some more questions. Is there a way to reduce number of site appliances? Great question. I didn't touch on it. Yeah, we can have the local server and connector together. So yes, it's a less secure option and not our suggested option, but definitely yes, and it supports flexible deployments. We know that it's not always easy, especially for OT users to have different servers everywhere. So definitely we provide that flexibility. Can it be deployed as a virtual appliance? I think if we're talking about our on-prem applications, local server connectors, yes, they can be on virtual or actual hardware. So yeah, there is that flexibility also. Let's do another couple. Disabling recordings. Yeah, you don't have to have the recordings available. That's also true for live monitoring. Both recordings and live monitoring can be disabled or enabled on the site level. So if you need to meet regulations, I know some places you can't just record your operators, etc. So you can turn it off or on, whatever really suits you. Let's do just one more question. File transfer. Can we do any file? Yeah. So the question is, can I move any file types, and is there a limit on the size? Well, there's no limit on file types. Regarding the size, well, there is actually no real limit. Internally, we've tested it in files up to 10 gigabytes. But there is really no limit. It really depends on the resources allocated both to the cloud application and on the machine's local server and connect. So really, it depends, but overall, no, there is no limit in real limit. Okay, well, thank you for those questions. Appreciate them. If you have any question that we haven't answered or any follow-up questions, just be aware that our customer success will reach out to you for any follow-ups that are required. Also sharing this video recording. I want to say thank you very much for everybody who's joined. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day. Bye.